This is Casper de Nora, and you're watching the Chat with Chaps live show.
Good evening and welcome to the Chat with Chaps live show. I'm your host, Joe Zampa, and today I'm joined by a full panel of co-hosts that I'm incredibly excited about. So talented that this lot can rival Mill's first 11 at the moment, whatever that might be. Before I introduce them, guys, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you haven't done yet, please subscribe to the channel. It's very easy. Just go to YouTube, click on the bell. You can even click on notifications for alerts as well. And you get alerted every time there's a video on there or we go live. And again, all the profits made to this channel goes to Cancer Research UK. You might have seen Chris's announcement recently on that. So we've got some good news. I'm sure Chris will relay that a little bit later to you, all you lovely listeners. So first of all, we've got the founder of Chat with Chaps himself, Chris Chapman. How you doing, Chris?
Wow, you put it like that. Yeah, I'm good, mate. It's nice to be on a live. It's nice to have a full house, and I think that just shows how we're all so optimistic at the minute. We all want to be a part of it and start talking about it. So yeah, great to be on, and yeah, looking forward to the show, Joe.
I agree. Even my wife would have come on tonight. She hates it. So no joking. But cheers, Chris. Thanks for having you on, mate. And again, listeners love you when you're on as well. So it's good to have you. Underneath yourself is the one and only Disco Steve. How you doing, Disco?
Yeah, evening, Joe. Evening, all. Delighted to be on. I'm delighted to make the starting lineup tonight. As you say, it's like trying to get in the Millwall team at the moment. We've got a lot of talent available, so I'm playing for my place, but I hope to do a good job tonight.
Excellent. Good to have you on as always, Disco. And then next to yourself is the one and only Stato Stephen. How you doing, Stato?
Yeah, not too bad. As Steve said, we're fighting for our place. We've actually got the gaffer here now, so if we don't perform, he's quick to throw us out. So on best behaviour and have to be on top form always. But it's good to be here, boys. Good to be here.
Absolutely. And you will change that handle soon, won't you, Stephen? I think we've got a bet going on at the moment. We beat Norwich. You're going to change the Stato Stephen. Is that right from now on?
Yeah, but we have to beat Norwich. Any scoreline, but we have to beat them to do it.
Lovely, excellent. And then above yourself, there is the Danish destroyer himself, Jesper Dangard. How you doing, Jesper? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know how you come up with these creative nicknames, Joe, but I like it though. You do make an effort to make a proper introduction, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No, I'm happy to be here with all the nappy changing and babysitting and baby talk. You know, it's nice to get away from it a bit and talk about something I really love, which is Millwall. So thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Thanks for being on. Right, let's go to the chat very quickly. I can see the room is quickly filling up. We've got about 83 of you in there at the moment, so we'll go through this very quickly. First for the door is Carl Bracey. How you doing, Carl? Hope you're well. Tommy, how are you, mate? Hope you're good. Jeff, friend of the show, how are you, Jeff? Hope you're good. Chris Brown, how are you, mate? Howdy. Hambo, good to have you. I think you might be new, Hambo, so good to for you to join us. Jeff Cook, how are you, mate? Hope you're good. Craig Jones, evening. I 2-6 to be a Sutton fan. That doesn't really go, does it? No, it doesn't. But yeah, Newport away. Sticks, good to have you with us, mate. Hughesy, hope you're good, mate, and hope all's going well. On a personal note for yourself, mate, we're all rooting for you over here, and the Chat with Chats family. Ben DeViva, how are you, mate? Alex S, bang on time as always. GB404, good to have you join us. Connor, evening, how are you? Jimmy, fuck me, I made a live on time. Evening, Jimmy. Hope you're well, mate. Richard, good to see you. There you go. Leslie, evening. There's Mick at ET Gamers, evening, chaps. Good to see you yesterday, Mick, by the way. Also, good to see Holly and Charlie yesterday as well. So, and Ben was there, who's part of Chat with Chaps, and his old man, my mate Mickey. Good to see you guys as well. I know Mickey, you listen to the show as well, so good to see you. Matt Richards, how are you, mate? Hope you're good. There you got your disco fan there. Disco. Mark Murphy, good evening to the full house tonight. Absolutely. Special show tonight. PJ, yeah, Stephen. There's your mate there, Stephen. Is that your Norwich mate?
No.
Scott Ballard, HMS Pistol League, Mill, evening lads, buzzing. Born free, die free. Good to have you with us, mate. Mark says it's like celebrity squares without the celebrities. The lovely Rosalind, how are you, Rosalind? Hope you well. Saw your mate Bex yesterday. Hope you're good. Oscan, good evening. Hello, Andy. Hope you're well, mate. Hi, Simon. Every Mill fan are happy and optimistic at the moment. Absolutely. Mark. So all the nicknames, is Joe the lady's favourite? The housewife favourite. From the sounds of it, Mark.
100%.
Please. John C, good to see you. And oh my God, bless him. So guys, last week we keep getting all these donations, yeah. And John, MFC John is really kind, puts us donations. We had quite a few recently. And last week, Light Plays donated £2, and I forgot to give him a mention. And I'm really sorry about that. He's given us another £2 donation tonight. And would you believe it? Light Plays is my youngest son, Kai, who yeah, I didn't realise that until last week. So Kai, if you're listening, thank you so much for the very kind donation. Guys, if you don't know this, Kai looks after our TikTok channel. So you might have seen recently some new videos on TikTok. If you're not following us on TikTok and you're on TikTok, please do it. It's Chat with Chaps TikTok channel, and he does all the editing, all the posting on there. So if you like what you see, please give it a like. Give him a little comment. It'll make his day. And Kai, thank you again for another £2 donation. Son, really do appreciate that. Love you, mate.
Thank you, Kai. Everything you do, Kai. Much appreciated, mate. You're brilliant.
Thanks, Kai. Thank you. Craig Jones, random requests, but my little boy Dustin turned 6 last Saturday. Could he get a happy birthday, please? There you go, guys. Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday, mate.
Happy birthday, Dustin. Dustin. Well done, mate. Clive, evening. Nick, nice one, Joe. Good to see you too, mate. Thank you. Harry, we're getting through these messages. Harry, evening. Where's the psychedelic wallpaper gone, Disco?
Oh, well. Got to move on. Got to modernise.
No. Who's that new striker that scored a hat-trick at Sutton? We will touch on that one, Alex. We'll touch on that. There you go, Kai. 2 kind lads. Thank you very much. Cheers, Kai. And then last one, Light Plays donating with the TikTok revenue I see. No. But listen, guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Guys, if you do get your questions in, because I don't want to stop the flow of the show, I will try and flag them. And if there are questions for the panel, I will do it at the end. And we'll try and answer those questions. So if you don't mind, I will try and save those for the end. I'm not ignoring you, but just so many comments coming through. It's very, very hard to get things moving. So first of all, big news this week was the signing of Alfie Doughty, signing from Luton Town. The 25-year-old Alfie Doughty signed for what would believe to be sort of in the region of £2.5 to £3 million from Luton. A boyhood Millwall fan. Chris, I'm going to go to you first, mate. What's your thoughts on this move? Is this a great deal in your opinion? Do you see we've got a future star on our hands?
I don't think we've got a future star on our hands. I think we've got a star right now, to be quite honest. I think he's an excellent footballer. I think he is an exciting footballer as well, right? He's got pace. He's got that edge about him. I don't think he'll take any shit. He's one of us. He's a Millwall fan. His old man is. His old man was. A wand of a left foot. It wasn't long ago he was being touted. Man United were rumoured to be looking at him potentially in the England setup. So, yeah, last season wasn't great, but if it was, let's face it, we wouldn't have got him. So, I think a really good deal for the club. £2.5, £3 million is a snip. I did an interview with a Luton fan yesterday. If you, I was going to
say, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Really good.
So, but I can't see a negative to it. I think he looks a little bit unfit. I think that's probably the only one, but he'll get there. And we all know, 2 assists already in that first game. There's only upside. Brilliant signing. Really versatile. Alex Neil talked about that in his post-match, how much he likes that. So, yeah, I'm over the moon with it, mate. I'm so glad we pulled it off.
Brilliant. Excellent. And cheers that, Chris. I'll come to you next. Disco, obviously a massive statement by the club signing Alfie Doughty, a player who only 18 months ago was on the fringe of the England squad during his time in the Premiership, playing very, very well for a team that finished bottom of the league. And he still managed to get 8 assists, I think 2 or 3 goals as well. What statement does this send to the rest of the Championship, Disco? What does this sort of show about Millwall this season and our ambition?
I think without a doubt, Joe, it shows that we are genuinely looking to compete at the top end of the table again, but not just as outsiders, as genuine contenders with real quality in the team. I'll just echo what Chris has said there. The guy is just oozes quality, rated him highly from the first time I've seen him. And I have to say, last night, even though it was only 60 minutes, it was against lower league opposition. He's not fully fit. You could just see from the first kick, the guy is another level, isn't he? He is top quality. I'll balance it. When the rumour came out, it was on our group, wasn't it? And everybody was saying like 5 million plus. I thought it was a lot of money for him. And I don't know why. I thought we got a bit... I think I didn't realise he was on a long contract. I didn't realise he was only 25. I thought he was about 20, 27, 28. And I thought maybe Luton need to get rid because of the wage bill, etc. So maybe we could get him, I think I said 3+, didn't I? Something like that. But the rumour of 2.5 to 3 is going to prove to be one of the best bit of businesses we've ever done. And look, it's got everybody buzzing, and it's a great addition for the club and the team. Full stop. Yeah, brilliant.
Well, so cheers at Disco. Coming to you next, Stato. I mean, what do you think Doughty's sort of versatility does for Millwall this season? Obviously, given the injuries we've got with Joe Bryan at the moment, Zach Sturridge, people say he could play as a left wing back, left full back, left wing. Where do you see his best position? Where do you see him fitting in to our squad, our team?
I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know the answer to that question because
Jesper,
you'd think,
what's your thoughts on we'll come back to you next. Go on. I'm joking.
You look at it on paper, he's always been known as a fullback or a wing back. So you just automatically assume that that's where he's going to slot in, that's where he's going to play. But when Alex Neil said, I think was quoted to say that, number of positions, attacking down the left-hand side, you kind of think, well, if he's got that much quality on the ball, maybe we could perhaps push him further up the field and make use of that left foot. I think I think it really does depend on the fitness of Joe Bryan. We've said on this show, well, I've said it a couple of times, that I think Bryan had the shirt at left back and Sturridge was perhaps the understudy. There was a rumour that Bryan was out longer term. If he is going to be out of the side, then perhaps the obvious one for Doughty is to play at left back and utilise where he was shining and was perhaps spotted by United and England. I think the other thing, just to touch on what the other two boys said, I always have a look at the opposition social media and see what is posted by their fans when a player is sold, especially to us. Obviously, if he goes to someone else, I don't really care, but and all of them were wishing him well, gutted that he was going, lots of anger towards the Luton hierarchy, but also fans of clubs like, for example, I saw QPR fans talking about the deal, Coventry fans talking about the deal, and Watford kind of saying, look, Millwall, we're starting to see them build a really, really strong squad of your obvious standouts with Ivanovic and Tanganga, but there's other players coming in to back them up now. Whereas it was only 1 or 2, we've now got 3, 4, 5 really, really good championship players. And I think it's being noticed across the board. And that's only a good thing.
Absolutely, and completely agree with what you say there. Cheers to that, Stato. Jesper, coming to yourself, last but certainly not least, how important is it for Mill to secure players like Doughty who have got that Premier League experience? If it been quite limited for one season, but is this what the sort of signs we need if we want to make a serious challenge for promotion this season to bring that kind of caliber of player in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we spoke about it also before the transfer window opened in terms of what we needed. I think we also spoke about, which players from Luton would you take now that they got relegated from League One? And I don't think anyone really mentioned Alfie Doughty because most of us thought that he would be out of our league. We wouldn't be able to afford him. And he's come in. But what really surprises me, and I think Chris touched on that with Lewis yesterday, is he's come in for about £2 to £3 million, which seems like a real bargain. If there's been any sort of clause in his contract with Luton, I'm surprised not there hasn't been any other clubs, sniffing this up, I'm just happy that we managed to get the deal done. And also, Chris, I think you or Lewis said something about he suddenly became available, as if something has happened in the last 10 days, 14 days, that suddenly Alfie was there for us to sign him. And I think, Joe, you mentioned it's good that we sign Alfie. Where are we going to play him? Because we got Sturridge, we got Brian, we got Femi on the left, and then now where are you going to slot in Alfie Doughty as well? But he's very versatile, apparently. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play as a left back, full back. I think he can play as a winger as well. And I think that versatility will be really important for us going into the season. I think Alex Neil will chop and change with the formation as well. So all in all, I only see benefits, and that always worries me because then they can only disappoint, right? But I think overall it's a really exciting signing. And I can't wait to see him play. I think he's just what we need, his crossing, his ability on the ball, etc., etc. So only pluses for me. I can't see any downsides. Good age, good value for money. All pluses as I see it.
Brilliant. Cheers for that, Jesper. And we will talk about the game in a second. We will go into, but just stick with yourself, Jesper, for a second. I mean, the performance yesterday for Doughty playing at left back, he got 2 assists, one for Langstaff, one for Emakhu. He certainly showed that kind of quality, and that left foot of his is very, very powerful, especially to create chances from fullback positions. I think for a very, very long time we've been crying for extra creativity in the squad somewhere. We talk about our fullbacks not getting forward enough or creating many chances, but if he does start playing left back, that's going to be certainly very, very important for us to create more goals. When you say?
Oh, absolutely. I think last year we saw a lot when we played that we would overload the left side, which would create a lot of space for Kramer on the right side. But unfortunately, he wasn't really a fullback, was he? No. I think maybe what we could try and do this year is we're going to try and overload, the right side, and then that will create space for Joe Bryan, Sturridge, and Doughty on the other side, which could really cause some damage down that side. So maybe that's an option, and maybe that's why we're not looking for a right back as well, because we have other intentions in how we want to play. I think most of us would have thought that we were bringing in a right back, but maybe with Doughty coming in now, Alex Neil's got other ideas. So yeah.
Brilliant. Cheers. Thanks for that, Jesper. Okay, so moving on to yesterday's pre-season friendly against Sutton. It was a 6-2 win, a very dominant display for Millwall. And obviously, while we expected to win, the talking point, of course, was Langstaff's hat-trick. And it was very, very impressive, to be fair. Obviously, I was there watching him live, and I was very impressed, not just with his usual work ethic, his work rate, but his finishing was very good. Disco, I'm going to start with you this time, and we'll go around in a circle. We'll take it in turns. Is he showing signs of finally setting to our squad now, Disco, or are we just getting too carried away? I mean, after all, it was a non-league side we played against yesterday. But what's your thoughts on Langstaff's hat-trick? And, is he good enough for the Championship still, in your opinion?
Look, first and foremost, absolutely delighted for him, because no matter what game it is, he wants to score goals, and getting that hat trick will have done him the absolute world of good. And much as he kept a lid on it in his interview, he was a bit more subdued than I thought he would be. But I think that was deliberate. I think he's saying, look, I realise it was friendly and it's against the National League team and all that. But goals are goals, as he said himself. Every striker wants to score goals. You cannot knock the guy for his work rate, his enthusiasm, and his commitment to the cause, and interesting. It's been very noticeable, hasn't he, that Alex has been starting him in a lot of these friendlies, and he's been starting him in almost like a 10 or a false 9, as they call it, a slightly deeper role. And he's played his part there. As I say, he's put the effort in. It was worrying, wasn't it? Was it Palace when he had that chance and he whacked it over the bar and you thought, Jesus, he can't hit a bloody barn door? And then I think he might have done the same in Spain. But they were good finishes last night. They were really good finishes. Better keeper might have done better. But, look, really pleasing. I'm not going to get carried away. But I will say, I know everybody thinks he's going to go out on luck. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think we will keep him for this season as a backup. I might be hugely wrong, but I think Alex sees a player there, a squad player, with experience, and somebody that's probably only going to get better with confidence. So, yeah, that's my thought.
Nice one. Cheers, Disco. Coming to you next, Stato. I'm not quite ready to make a public apology just yet, Stato. Obviously, you know my feelings about Langstaff. Love your guy, admire his work ethic, but I always question his ability to make it in the Championship. Ever since Chris over there did an interview with a former Notts County podcast guy, and I think he mentioned to Chris, going back then, Chris, if you remember that, Langstaff, as good as he is, he needs 4 or 5 chances in the game to get 1, maybe 2 goals. So I've always had my doubts about him, but personally, Stephen, I mean, do you think there's still time? Do you think there's still a place for Langstaff in this team? Was you impressed with his performance yesterday? How do you see things panning out?
I think there's a place for him. I think the big thing with him is it's him or Nisbet, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's whoever comes in for one of them first is probably going to go, and it's a 50-50. I think both of them will be probably told, look, there are options ahead of you in the starting in the first team, and if we're going to go one up front, then obviously that would mean that there's 2 in front of him, because the likely switch would be Ivanovic for Coburn for Ivanovic, depending on which way we go. If we go with a 2 up front, then perhaps there's a little bit more game time for either Langstaff or Nisbet. I think strikers want to score goals. I think it's really important for him to have scored in pre-season. He's obviously got the weight of the world on his shoulders as a forward. The expectation on him is huge. Regardless of the jump, that we're full-blooded Millwall fans. We want our players to be performing at the best of their ability, and if we've got a forward on the pitch, we want to see them score goals. So I think it's difficult to get carried away, but I think it's important for him to have scored. And if his attitude and commitment is anything to go by, I think Alex Neil will take a lot from what he's seen of him in pre-season, because whilst he might not have been the best player on the pitch, I don't think there's any doubt in that he's committed to the calls and willing to put in the hard yards for the team. So I actually thought Nisbet might have been above him in the pecking order, but after last night, maybe Langstaff has just put himself back in should we say, the third choice striker.
Nice one. Cheers for that, Stato. Coming to you yourself next, Jesper. Your thoughts on Langstaff yesterday, and do you see him at a future at Millwall this season?
I think if you isolate the game yesterday, I think we have to be aware that we played a National League side, so it can look better than it might have been. But goals are goals. He took his chances very well. Got 3 goals, and you can't fault that. You can only play who's in front of you, and he did that, and he did it very well. What does concern me is last season when he was given a chance, and I think he didn't take it. There was a lot of missed opportunities in the Championship. But as Steve said, I think his work rate, his attitude is spot on, and he's been given a chance at Championship level at an age around 27, when what he used to play at the highest level he used to play was League 2. So I think he wants to make the most of it, and I think there is a place for him in the team, not as a starter, but as a sub who can come on and he can work his socks off for the team. And as we haven't seen Nisbet, I haven't seen anything from him. He hasn't played any games, has he? Which suggests to me that either he's constantly injured or he's on his way out. So I think we'll keep him. So we've got 3 strikers, and whether we chop and change and then we play 1 up front or we play with 2 up front, I think those will be the strikers, plus the young kids that we have in Lovelace and Matthews as well. So yeah, no, I think he did all right. He couldn't have done more, could he? He could have scored 5, of course, but I think three was well good for him. It will do him the world of good as a striker. I played as a striker myself. Goals, whoever you play against, it's the best feeling. So no, all credit to him. I think he couldn't have done more, and I think we'll see him also this season in a Millwall shirt. And if he goes, I don't think he'd go on loan. We'll sell him. I don't think we will loan out a 27, 28-year-old player. Then he goes for good.
I agree. Cheers for that, Jesper. And then Chris, just your final thoughts on Langstaff, or as you call it, Langstaff. You've seen enough of him. You've done your post-match analysis quite often. You talk about his performances over last season. You're one who, I guess, who's analysed his game quite a lot last season. What's your thoughts on Langstaff? Do you see there's a future at Millwall? And of course, was you impressed? Did he do enough yesterday for you to say, yeah, he should get a run in this team this season?
Not to get a run in the team, but I think because Ivanovic and Coburn should be the first choices, but I think he's done enough to warrant remaining with the squad. And it's it's a weird one. When we signed Langstaff,
there you go. Hey.
it just feels so unnatural. Anyway, when I thought what we were getting was someone that basically all they could do was finish, just for the pure quantity of goals that he scored. And actually, I think his game is almost the complete opposite. He's someone that actually can't finish very well. But I do think he runs the channels. He works hard. I think his link-up play is okay. I think he shows signs of intelligence, and that's why I think actually Alex Neil is deploying him in a slightly different role, because I think he can be more effective there. So I don't know. And then Mark's put this in the chat, which I potentially agree with, which is that the service and setup in midfield will help Langstaff more this season, because we'll play a little bit more, front foot, through balls, that kind of thing. So I don't want to write him off. And personally, if I had to choose one of them, I want someone who's not got an attitude problem. I know at the fans forum, we'll come on to talk about it in a minute. Alex Neil said if there was any attitude problems, they would be quickly addressed and they wouldn't be playing for him. But I don't know. I don't want both of them there. I think we need something slightly different. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Langstaff.
Okay, excellent. Cheers for that, Chris. Really appreciate that. We're going to start with you next, Stephen, Sato, on the next topic. But before we do that, guys, in the chat, very, very quickly, just put it there very, very simply. Langstaff or Nisbet? Who do you prefer out of those two? It looks like one of them's going to stay, one might go. Put it in there and let's see what the chat's saying. Stato, come to yourself next. Another player who was desperate in need of a good performance yesterday, and he seemed to come through, look very, very lively with 2 goals, was Emakhu. Can he finally break through with some sort of consistency in his form and his play this season, in your opinion? What would you make of his performance yesterday, and how do you see his future?
Yesterday, much like Langstaff, very good. Again, you take into consideration the opposition. I don't keep harping on about that, but it is important to not lose sight of it. He did score 2 goals. I think you look at Emakhu, and he's probably one. I said it on the last show that I did. We missed a boat with getting him out on loan last season, or certainly at Christmas. He should have been. I know we might have been light on numbers, but he should have been playing regular football. And I think that's kind of it's stagnated his development a little bit. In terms of this season, again, I said it before. If Doughty's coming in to play in an attacking position, Aziz, Negley, Bangura, Williams, Coburn, Ivanovic, it's 6 attacking players that, in my opinion, are ahead of Emakhu. I get that other people might not necessarily agree because of his raw pace, but you've also got, as I think Jasper said, Lovelace and AJ Matthews, also Benicio Baker in forward areas, which again the club have invested some money in fairly recently. I think Emakhu probably just needs game time. Can we give him the game time that he needs to really settle as a championship player? I don't think we can. It's a shame, because I do think that there's a player in there, but for me, I think his future this season lies away from us. And it's I wouldn't say it hurts me to say that, but I think looking at it from who we've got and who might be ready-made for the championship, I don't think he falls into that category personally.
Okay, nice one. Cheers for that, Stato. Coming to you next, Jesper, your thoughts on Emakhu. His performance yesterday, certainly gave us food for thought. It'll certainly give Alex Nielsen food for thought, whether he wants to keep him or not this season, or as Stephen says, send him out on loan. What's your thoughts on Emakhu? Is there a player there? Can Alex Neil unearth that potential out of him, and where do you see his sort of season going this season? And before we go to you guys in the chat, very quick one, give us number 1 if you want Emakhu to stay this season, number 2 if he should go out on loan, or number 3 if we should sell him. So 1, keep him; 2, number 2, loan; 3, sell him. Sorry, Jesper, over to yourself, mate.
No, you're right. With Emakhu, for me is a strange one. I think for a while I've always rated him, but mainly because of his pace. I think what we saw yesterday is there are 2 versions. There is an Emakhu when he has to unlock a defense, and then there is an Emakhu when he's got space in front of him. So in the first half, I think he struggled a little bit, combination-wise, getting past his defender, because they were sat very deep, Sutton. as second half opened up, they got a bit more tired. He could sort of start running at them, and then he's got blistering pace, and he can really utilize that. And he could also potentially utilize that in games where we might be under the cosh, where we need an outlet when we play better teams. We can use that pace on the wings. But as Steven said, he needs game time, and I don't think he will get that many games with us. I think it will be appearances here and there and sub appearances, and I don't think it will be on a consistent basis. I think the players we have, there are players in front of him, Neckley, Femi, Doughty, Bangura Williams, Ivanovic Coburn, as Stephen mentioned. So it's a tough one for me. As much as I want to keep him and as much as I want him to succeed in the Millwall shirt, I just think maybe a loan deal will be very good for him in terms of his development, because I think it has stagnated a bit since he arrived, and that is almost 2 years ago now. So I think game time is pivotal for him if he wants to continue his development. And then let's see if that loan move or potential loan move materializes and he does well, then let's see what type of player that comes back. Because he has been rumored, with a move to, was it PSV Eindhoven? I even think there was a ridiculous rumor with Atletico Madrid. There must be other scouts and clubs looking at him and seeing some potential, but it just hasn't been unlocked yet. And I don't think it will be if he stays with us for the season.
I agree. Cheers for that, Jesper. Lots of twos in the chat. Would you say, Chris? Lots of loans, suggesting loans for Emakhu?
Yeah, I would say that was probably the most common answer. I'm a 1.5.
Yeah.
Whether we're thinking short or longer term, I think the best thing for him longer term, and for us longer term, to get a player that's valuable and developed is two, without a doubt. He needs to be playing week in, week out, so he can iron out those mistakes and work for a manager that Alex Neil trusts.
Yeah.
However, he has something that at the moment, I don't think, maybe Alfie Doughty's got this, I don't know, but that ultimately he is so rapid that if we need someone in the last 20 minutes of a game to come on and make an impact, I don't think we have anyone else that can do exactly what he can. So that's why I'm saying I'm in the middle, because in absence of that, I know it's kind of short-term thinking, but we might need that in some games. So maybe like the approach is loan out with a view to bringing him back in January, something like that. I don't know.
Sounds good. And also, Chris, on the other side of that, we could be leading a game 1-0. We might need that pace on the counter attack, especially if we're under a bit of pressure to nick a goal on the break. So it's good to have those legs, that pace, isn't it? Exactly. Come to yourself, Disco. Before I come to you, Chris, what was the results roughly on the Nisbet Langstaff? What was the divide, would you say?
I would have said it was about 70-30 in favour of Langstaff.
Really interesting. So cheers for that, you guys in the chat. Disco, coming to yourself, mate, with regards to Emakhu, what's your thoughts on him? And can Alex Neil get the best out of him this season, or do you see a loan being the best move, as Chris and the others have said?
Well, answer your question, can Alex get the best out of him? Yes, he can. And I think he believes in him, seems to want him to succeed. And I think you'll be the first to say, Joe, you've heard him many times. He gives him hell on the sideline, doesn't he? Alex Neil is giving
constantly
him,
coaching him,
coaching him, and that'll be a bit of frustration, but that'll be because he wants him to succeed. He sees something in him, like we all do. Let me be clear. I rate the guy first and foremost, and I do. Unlike some of our group, I do see a player in there. I understand the frustration, and I understand that he is falling down the pecking order as we bring in more and more talent. I've just quickly looked there, and on the Millwall website, our squad currently, with Alfie Doughty in as well, but with your Danny Max, your Matthews, Lovelace, all those in, Benicio Baker, all that, there's 24 players. Now, I don't think that's excessive, to be honest, in a season when there's, did we say there's 7 or 9 subs these days now?
9,
9 subs. Now, the point everybody's making is right. He is not going to start. And is he going to be comfortable coming on as an impact sub, which is his strength, actually? And is that right for him as well as us? It's right for us. Is it right for him? So I agree with Stephen, and I think Jesper said the same. You maybe have to think about the player a little bit. Old Rowett used to always say, didn't he? You've got to think about the player's development. But then again, I think, sod that. I'm selfish. I'm worried about our team and us winning games. So I see him as having a role to play in the squad, because he is a bit different, as everybody has said, but he won't be a starter and he won't get loads and loads of game time. So is that right for him versus is it right for us? That's something I trust Alex and Steve Gallen, etc., to make that decision. I can't believe people are saying 3 and sell him. I wouldn't sell him at all.
No, me neither.
1.5 maybe.
Just off the back of that, Joe, on the point that Steve made there. So you say that we've got a squad of 24.
Sorry, excluding keepers. Sorry,
so
outfield.
So it would be 27 then with Crocombe, Evans, and Bender. So you've got 27 players there, and on a match day you can get 20 in the match day squad. So when we're talking about what's best for the players, that at the moment there's going to be 7 players that are not going to be even making the match day squad when we travel to Norwich. I know we've got a couple of injuries, so that counts for it. We're also looking, we're led to believe, which we'll come on to, I'm sure, some other players. I know that other players might leave to go out on loan, so the numbers will balance themselves out a bit. But there'll be players, maybe even Emakhu. We don't know. We'll know obviously come Norwich, who may not even make the 20. So it is looking out for the players as well as the team, because you can't have 6-7 players just sitting not doing anything every week. And if Emakhu is going to be one that could make it but could not if other options are available, then I think that has to come into it as well.
Yeah,
very, very good point. So just end off in the market. I mean, for me personally, I still feel that he's a very, very young player. He's nowhere near fulfilling his potential at the moment. And you hear, as we've touched on, Alex Neil coaching constantly. Yesterday, because of where you stand next to the pitch, you can really hear the players talking. And it was constantly Billy Mitchell telling what to do, Alfie Doughty telling what to do. Players on the pitch constantly telling what to do, And you've got to remember, he's only, 20, 21 years old, maybe, I think, if that, So he's a young kid finding his feet. Maybe... I agree with Chris. You just go 1.5 for me, maybe so 1.2 rather in the middle, because I don't see why we should sell him. I think he's a very good player, but let him go out on loan, let him make mistakes out on loan, let him find his feet, let him get his rhythm, and then come back a better player. Moving on, we'll start with yourself, Jesper, this time. I believe you're next, Jesper, starting you. What do you make of the big Bender yesterday? Stephen Bender. He did make a couple of fantastic saves, didn't he? I mean, what do you make of his performance?
I think he did all right. I haven't seen him play before yesterday, so that was my first game watching him play. He looked solid in goal. I think his distribution is okay-ish. You can see that he's probably used to playing in the Premier League side in terms of wanting to distribute it short. His long-range passing, not fully convinced, but again, I just think every time we sign a new keeper, in the beginning, it takes a bit of time for them to get up to speed and really finding their feet. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think we've signed, a Premier League keeper who hasn't played much for Fulham, but he did well at Swansea. I read some comments from Swansea fans that said he was excellent. The Fulham fans are saying otherwise, but I guess that's lack of game time as well. He hasn't played that many games, and he's competing with Bernd Leno, who I believe was also in the German setup as well. So I think it's a decent signing. I think it's a clever move in terms of making a loan deal until Lucas gets back, and then we see who's going to fight it out for the number 1 shirt. And in terms of if Lucas then gets the jersey again, then Bender won't be here next season. So I think it's good to have a loan move for that position. And then we also got Crocombe, obviously, as a backup. So, but yeah, no, I think he did. I think he did fairly well. But let's see how he plays on Saturday. And yeah, I can't really say too much about. I don't know too much about him, but he looked fairly all right, I think. Yesterday.
Awesome. Cheers, Jesper. Coming to yourself next, Chris. We just made a very valid point there. Whenever we get a new goalkeeper, the first thing we all do is be critiques, don't we? We're critical of their kicking, their handling, their crossing, all these areas. And I guess it's no different to the big Bender yesterday. I mean, what did you make of his performance? Did you see him someone who could, be a good keeper for us if need be?
Yeah, I'm not going to draw any conclusions on one game for him. I think my biggest concern and this is my concern overall. By the way, I'm very optimistic. I'm a natural pessimist, but I am actually quite optimistic this season. But my biggest concern is for me, and we saw it last season, and we saw it with Matty as well. The relationship between the two centre halves and the goalkeeper are vital, and that has to be there, and it takes time. And we're in a situation where we've got another brand new goalkeeper, and potentially, and I'm sure we'll discuss it, a centre back that may not be there, and that has the power to disrupt a lot of consistency, and that is my number one concern. Going into the season, because we're in a little bit of limbo on this, and we've got no idea just how close all of that, how all of that's come together. And I'm sure Alex Neil knows this. He's doing everything he can to address it. So I know that, but that's my concern with the big bender.
Excellent. Cheers for that, Chris. And come to yourself next, Disco. I know you like what's the word you say?
Big unit.
Big unit between
the sticks.
A big big unit between the sticks, don't you? So what do you make of the big bender yesterday? Was you impressed? Does he see was you quite happy with his ball handling skills? What are you laughing at, this guy?
I'm not going to go down your route of bloody
you
playing on the name.
You got a filthy mind, Disco.
I'm going to go the other route actually, and Stephen will hear me out here. I'm going to dig the guy out I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt and say his name is Stefan Bender, because Stephen is PH, not bloody V, so he can drop that if he wants to be a serious contender, or I'll call him Stefan. But
or Stato Stefan from now on as well.
No, he's a Stephen. He's the correct spelling, so we'll go with that. But no, look, jokes aside, any defence would want a big bender behind them, wouldn't they? Let's get that right. I take Chris's point. There is a nervousness of another new keeper coming in. I'm sensing Alex has said he knows who his first choice is, didn't he, at the forum, I believe, Chris?
Yeah.
And I'm suspecting it's Bender. It feels like that's where his head is with him starting. Did he play the full game in the end yesterday? He did, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Two on the bench, so I thought they might have had a bit of game time.
Yeah,
but that tells me he's going to be first choice. I thought he sounded quite commanding. Could hear him talking a lot and shouting for the ball quite a few times. His handling looked pretty decent. Somebody's put in the chat there, he made a great save at 3-1, didn't he, from the edge of the area. Really great dive save. Look, I'm sure he's got all the attributes to be a decent keeper. Chris is right. It's a little bit of a concern as another change again. But look, as long as he doesn't start with a little bit of a mistake like Jensen had last year, we should be okay. And look, it all screams to me. We all said, if we bring another keeper in, where does that put Jensen? Look, Jensen's our number one when he's fit. So Bender is in on a loan to fill a void, and Crocombe, I think, will be the number two. And I still feel George might go out on loan. Not that I know anything, but that for me, I'm quite pleased. It didn't sort of, hugely excite me, but one thing I would say, very much trust in the goalkeeper coach. I like what I've seen and heard of him so far, and he's got a relationship with him, hasn't he? So I'll trust his judgment on that.
Absolutely. Cheers, that Disco. And then ending off this round with yourself, Stato, to get your thoughts on it, on the big bender, and was you impressed with his, sort of, I would say ball handling, but his goalkeeping duties.
Much like Chris, and I'm going to just expand a little bit on what he said there, because something else that's kind of come to mind, that an article come out today that Alex Neil said that we offered Liam Roberts a 2-year deal, and he decided that he didn't want to stay at the club. He said it had nothing to do with the media frenzy around what happened against our friends up the road. But it also stated that Roberts didn't ask the question. He asked whether he would be guaranteed the number one shirt this season, and he couldn't be given that assurance. So he decided to go elsewhere. He does go on to say things about family and moving closer to home, etc. But the concern that I have with again, another goalkeeper, the relationship is one. with whoever plays at the back. Obviously, we'll touch on Tanganga in a little while, but the goalkeepers we've got at the moment, are they're happy clearly to know that they're only playing because the number one it isn't there. You're going into the season. Last year, we were going into the season knowing that Lucas Jensen, okay, there was debate whether it be Jensen or Roberts, but he knew he was the number one. He was going to have the shirt and it was his to lose. That's basically how we started the season. This season, both Crocombe and Bender, and it'd be interesting if the guys in the chat could perhaps put which one they think is going to be the starter. Alex Neil knows, but I don't think either of them do. And both of them might think, well, if I make a mistake in one game, or if it doesn't go so well, I'm going to be out and the other guy's going to get a chance. So I do have a little bit of a concern with consistency and the fact that they know that they're not going to be the number one long term because obviously the number one will be back as soon as possible. So he did all right last night. You can't really pass judgment. It's his first game. He met his teammates last week and all that, but just concerns long term on the keeper position and what it might mean for us.
That's why, by the way, Bender will be number one, because he would have been given a brief that says, look, come in, you'll be number one, but then
6 months.
To me, that's why it is. And you'll know Saturday when you see who starts and go on Saturday.
Good point.
That's likely. It is likely, but Crocombe also wants to get into the. I think is it the key? He's a Kiwi, isn't he? He wants to get into their World Cup squad. And is he going to do that by sitting on the bench? That's the only thing. He might have wanted some assurance that he's going to get an opportunity to make that squad. But I do think that Bender will be the number one come Norwich.
Is Bender Beaver related to Bender?
Let us know, Bender Viva. Are you a Bender as well, Bender Viva, or do you not know?
Can I?
Sorry, Steve.
Do that, Joe.
Sorry, man. I just want to say a massive thank you to the awful gambler.
Awful gambler. is that
gambling and losing?
is that Angelo? Is that Angelo? The awful gambler.
Mate, he'll shoot you. Sorry, did go.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can I, before I get pelters from everybody, I've just had another look on the website there. There's 23 outfield players on the squad there, but there's no Sturge and there's no Doughty, so it's 25. And and Bender's not on there, so it's going up and up and up. But there's a lot of players in there who won't feature at all. So I get the point. Yeah, you get the point.
Right. Guys, we're gonna come back to the Sutton friendly because I still want to talk about Rafik Lamptey. I want to discuss Kamal Grant's performance as well, but I'm just conscious that Chris has to shoot off in about sort of 10-15 minutes. So, Chris, you were at the fans forum discussions the other night, wasn't you? And again, guys, if you haven't seen Chris's show from yesterday, he does talk about the forum there. So if you want to watch back that tomorrow or after this show, jump on there. It's really good. But just hand over to yourself, Chris, for this one. I mean, what's the big topic that you sort of took from that? And I know there was mention about Tanganga and the potential sell of Mihailo Ivanovic as well. What's your take on the whole evening? And is there anything you can share with us and our listeners?
Yeah, I think, I think a couple of key things were, for me, that stood out was that a right back isn't a priority. To me, that was an interesting one, because I feel it's a huge opportunity to improve the side by bringing in an attacking right back. And I recall when Jesper and I did our transfer wish list, and we both agreed a right back was key. So I get it. There's 4 right backs already there, so I understand it. But that was interesting. The main focus area is a central midfielder. Judging by what was said, that's not going to be Alfie Doughty. So I think anyone that thinks that could happen, I would quash that. Famous last words, but that was the vibe I got. That was fun.
Sorry, mate. Was that they didn't feel he was right for us, or he wasn't available? Did they intimate what it was?
More the former. So that if we're going to play 4-4-2, he doesn't really fit into a 2.
Right.
Which I would make them right. So because you could say that's another Kundal, right? Because where does Kundal fit him? That's a topic for a whole nother story. But so that was that one. So I think we're looking for a midfielder that can play in a 2 as a priority, but is box to box, but also is used to playing in a 2. So I think that will be one that will add to our 107-man squad or whatever it is. So that was one. the Tanganga issue has obviously caused, controversy over social media in the last sort of few weeks, and certainly the last 24 hours. I think the club made it very clear they do not want him or any of our other best players to go. They've offered him a new contract, which one can only assume that is trying to buy out the 1.2 million release fee. And they said he is happy and preparing as if he's going to start the season with us. So,
right, okay.
Let's see. I mean, the reality is, my personal take, obviously this wasn't said, but if a Premier League club really wanted him, they'd have come in by now, right?
True,
so
yeah.
The fact they haven't. Sunderland, I don't think are in that market. If you look at the players they're going for big names, Granit Xhaka. I don't think they're in the market for someone like Tango. Therefore, it leaves Burnley and Leeds. And with Esteve committing his future today, I don't know. So I think this is going to go right to the wire. I stood up and asked, I didn't stand up actually, I asked a question and basically said, how do you prepare not knowing whether you're going to have Tanganga? And the thing was the Steve Gallen said they have centre-backs lined up, ready to push a button should Tanganga go.
Right.
And that also dictates, they kind of alluded to where Crammer then fits in. Because obviously, does Crammer play centre-back? Crammer plays right-back. I get the sense they really like Crammer at right-back. I mean...
So do you feel, Chris, obviously you were there, if, for example, Tanganga goes and they look to possibly move Crammer to centre-back with additional cover at centre-back, are we then looking for a right-back then? Or are they adamant that Crammer's our right-back and that's it?
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe, because when I said about how would you plan for this, they said that they didn't say anything about right back. They said we've got centre backs lined up and ready to go. So that also suggests to me, because they were like young centre backs, that was the terminology, which suggests to me that maybe Kamal Grant isn't in the reckoning for a first team. I don't know. Obviously, the thing is, you need to take everything I'm saying with subjectivity, because everyone can interpret it in different ways. So I just want to make sure that that's heavily caveated. All right.
Sure. Yeah.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to the club, because I thought it was well run. You could ask whatever you wanted. Every question got asked. It was well supported. I would say there was about 100 people there. So yeah, it was good. I think another interesting topic was, and this relates back to what we said earlier around the amount of players we've got, is the club do not see, certainly at the minute, AJ Matthews, Benicio Baker and Zach Lovelace as first team players.
Right, that's interesting.
They don't see it.
Very interesting.
But Chris, can I just ask about the Tanganga then? So are we led to believe now that he only wants a move to the Premier League now? Because there were rumors that Hellas Verona had an offer rejected for about 2.6, 2.8 million. If he really wanted to leave, would he have pushed that and said, like, I want to go to Italy, which apparently doesn't seem like he wants to now. He only wants to go to the Premier League.
That is a good question. That didn't come up, but what I got the sense of was that unless it's a stupid offer, we'll reject those offers. So, because which
he apparently seems okay with then.
Yeah, which is interesting, because I actually think the Italian game would possibly suit him a bit better than the Premier League. But anyway, but yeah, that's the kind of sentiment I got. But all the time, Burnley and Leeds are signing players that aren't Tanganga. It only looks good for us because we have the power to reject these bids, unless obviously.
But I think that's what we discussed in the group as well, isn't it? That me and Joe and I think the majority of the fans, we see Tanganga, as a pivotal player, as the one we really want to keep at all costs. But when you go into the Premier League, you suddenly get a different amount of money you can spend, and you want to buy from the highest shelf. You want to go to Germany, you want to go to Spain, you want to go to Italy, you want to see even South America and get the best players. So do they look at Tanganga the same way that we do? Or if they did go and buy him, would he be a squad player like Wolverhampton or Leeds or whatever? Would he be a sort of squad player to fill the numbers and not be a first team starter?
And also to add to that, would Tango be happy in doing that? I mean, at Millwall, he's an integral part of our team. He plays in week out. That he knows where he stands. There's that risk, isn't it, Chris, of going to a Premiership side and not even featuring for that team. And
possibly being back in the Championship next season. Like, with the greatest respect, he goes to Burnley. He's got to move to Burnley. Then got to. He's on a decent salary at Millwall, right? Let's just say that. So I don't think he's going to get a lot more there. He's not going to be loved. Like, Millwall fans love him. He is a king to us, right? So
Mm.
I'm hoping some of that comes into his thinking.
And his teammates, right? Sorry to interrupt there, Chris, but even his teammates, you see how much love he has in the changing room from all the guys there, how much they really respect him. You know, him going to a big Premiership club, all these big stars, big players, suddenly he's just a squad player, isn't he? You know?
Absolutely. The only thing I think that will mean that the Italian links don't go away, by the way, is I'm pretty sure his agent's based in Italy.
Right. Okay.
Italian. So I think that's why the Italian links won't go away. So, but yeah, that was interesting. And then, yeah, just to highlight that there will be a lot of players that go out on loan, but what we want to do is be a little bit selfish and understand who we want to be in and around the first team before making those decisions. So that was what Steve Gallen said. But overall, really, really, really good. And it was, really good event. And I would encourage as many of you to go to it next time around because it's great. And if you care as much as we all clearly do, it's nice to be able to go and ask the burning question, so to speak.
Was it at the club, Chris, or is it at another venue?
It was in Harry's Bar. Yeah, it was in Harry's Bar. That was the only negative, by the way. I said it in my video. One bar staff for 100 people. First pint took a long time.
Especially with you there, Chris. Jesus Christ, you need your own barrel, didn't you? Really? Let's be honest.
I do.
Chris, explain yourself very quickly. I know you've got a few more minutes before you go. Just want to say, Ben the Beaver, thank you so much for your very, very kind donation. Guys, you know, we don't expect these donations, but I tell you what, we do really appreciate when they come through. It's very kind of you to give your hard-earned money. And of course, everything we get goes to Cancer Research UK. So thank you so much for doing that, Ben the Beaver, mate. Thank you very much. Chris, could you just touch on Ivanovic and anything else mentioned about Ivanovic? I mean, it's reported yesterday, I think it was. Yesterday today, Wolves have now stepped up their bid to try and get Ivanovic, and they're quite keen to sign Ivanovic and Tanganga. Millwall has slapped a £15 million price tag on Ivanovic, allegedly, and Wolves are prepared to offer 16.2 to secure Ivanovic and Tanganga. I mean, what was their fault? Did they give you any sort of feeling that they were interested in selling Ivanovic, or whether that was no matter what, we're not going to sell? I know you mentioned in your show the other day that you wouldn't like to see him go for less than 20 million, in your opinion. Does the club share that same sort of ethos?
They didn't mention Wolves, but what they did say is I'll be honest, this was quite a generic answer, and that's why it makes me. It was like he is continuing to develop. He's one of our better players. Again, terminology. We don't want to sell our better players.
Yeah, I get that.
However, every player has his price. That was the terminology. So to me, what that figure is, obviously, by the Wolves article, you would suggest that it's 15 million. If an offer of that money comes in, I think we'll struggle to reject it. But I don't know. Personally, I think the number should, based on what I've seen in pre-season, because even Alex Neil acknowledged that he seems to have stepped up a level again in pre-season.
Yes, yeah.
For me, 20 million or bugger off. If you've got players like Charlie Kellman going for up to 5 million, Nathan Broadhead I think he's in the last year of his contract going for 7.5 million. I'm sorry, someone like Miha, it needs to be more, a lot more.
And to that point you made there, Chris, and we're all very impressed with what Mihailo Ivanovic done last season, but what he's been showing us in pre-season, showing that extra gear and that extra quality, that he's possessing, and he's still 20 years old.
Yeah,
it's scary, isn't it? I mean, Jesus, what's this guy? What's he going to be like when he's 25, 26? If Millwall don't need to sell, and we're in a position that we can be a little bit more commanding what we want as a fee, then I'm with you, Chris. I would take anything less than 20, and I think there'd be clubs certainly queuing up for him if he has another 6 months with us and scores a few more goals this season, because he looks the real deal at the moment, doesn't he?
And we hold the cards, right? We've got a long-term contract, So yeah. But gents, I've got to dash off. But before I do, just a couple of things I just wanted to share. So first of all, obviously we shared that we'd surpassed the 10,000 mark. So
brilliant.
I'm yet to decide whether to just keep going with the same page or set up a new one for the new season. I don't really know, but just want to say massive thank you to everyone that contributed to that. It's such a milestone, and we're working with Cancer Research to see if there's a way of sharing that more broadly and how that could then look for next season. So that's one thing I wanted to share. The second thing is, I don't think any of you even know this because I've not mentioned it. as part of my personal efforts to continue to contribute, I'm going to be doing the midnight marathon walk on September the 19th, I think. So I would have loved to run the marathon because I've had a knee replacement, long story. I can't. So the next best thing is to walk it. So I'm going to be doing that for cancer research. So
wow.
I don't know what I need to work out how I get donations for that versus this and stuff.
Yeah.
So all that, but just to share that I'm really looking forward to
Brilliant.
that.
Well done. Could you just ask, just so the listeners can understand, is it the full 26.5 miles, but you're going to be walking rather than running?
It is, yeah.
And how long does that take on average? I mean, they always say a good time for a marathon is sub 4 hours. What's the time in walking?
I think it's about 8 to 10.
Wow.
So, and it's,
Fair play,
I mean,
mate. Fair play.
I'm not going into detail, but at the minute,
You better get going now, mate.
You better make a start, yeah.
And if anybody lives near the finish line and can put Chris up for a couple of hours after he finishes, that'd be great as well, because he might need it.
Have a pint of Stella waiting for him, Stella Artoris at the end, just to see him home at the end. In fact, get a drip into his vein. Just pour the whole keg in.
I'll need it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. And then the final thing for me before I shoot off was just to say, can't promise, but I'm really hoping for some really good content next week. I'll just leave it there. Some exciting, unique content that should be out hopefully by the end of next week, but we'll be recording during the week. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of let that teaser there. And thanks for having me on.
Interesting. Chris, thanks for giving up your time, mate. So generously. Always good to have you on the lives. Guys, if you're hiding under a rock or you're new to this channel, make sure you watch after every game. Chris does his post-match analysis. This is how Chat with Chaps was originally formed. So you haven't listened to it, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you click on the bell to get the announcements and notifications, and listen to Chris's post-match analysis. So cheers, Chris. We'll let you get to the boss.
She's waiting. Right.
See you later, mate.
See you later.
Take care. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks. Good stuff. Brilliant. Guys, let's get back to yesterday's pre-season friendly. Just a couple more players I want to talk about. I think I came to you first last time, Jess, but I'm going to come to Disco first this time. I'm going to go around. Disco, thoughts on Rafik Lamptey? I mean, we've seen quite a bit of him in pre-season. He's featured quite a lot in the games. What do you make of his performance when he came on yesterday? Would you put him ahead of, say, Massey or Kelly in that midfield sort of competition at the moment for the young players sort of breaking through? What's your thoughts on him?
Look, like what I've seen, I haven't seen as much as you guys. I haven't seen all these friendly games, or I've only sort of watched on a dodgy streams. I can't really claim to have watched it in detail. I've watched the game back today. I thought he looked really good. He looks like he's got a good engine on him, good technique. Don't mind putting a tackle in, but good distribution, hasn't he? You know, pass and move looked good. Where does he rank in the running order? I don't know. Kelly, I haven't seen enough of, so I can't comment. And I believe he's injured again, isn't he, at the minute? So who knows what's going to happen with him? I'll stand by. I've got just a feeling Massey is a special player. But I think from the fans forum, reading the transcript earlier, it sounds like he'll go out on loan this time, Massey. I do think he'll go out on loan, and I think that will do him the world of good. And I'm not sure what will happen with Lamptey. They sort of said, didn't they? They'll either, if they're players that will benefit from going out on loan, then we'll put them on loan. But if not, they'll stay in the 21s and train with the first team and maybe be on the fringes. But yeah, look, answer your question, looks another good prospect, and haven't we got a few of those right now, you know? So yeah, liked what I saw, certainly.
Nice one. Coming to you next, Stato. Obviously, last season we saw Race Bangura Williams break through, and everyone was like, you know, wow, this is, you know, we had SA, now got Bangura Williams. Do you see Rafik Lamptey being that next sort of star that's going to come through our academy and break into the first team, in your opinion, for what you've seen of him so far?
I think it depends, as when you know Chris said about the fans forum, that there's loans lined up for the younger players. So I think it's really difficult to answer that, because I'm going to work on the basis that he probably is going to fall into that category. That if he can get a suitable loan and get proper game time, that will run its due course. I think, as Disco said, you look at the squad as a whole, and you look at the young players. And again, Ivanovic, Bangura, Williams, they fall into that category as well. We've got such a pool of talent in the club at the moment, from the 18s to 21s in the first team. So it's really exciting. There's a couple of comments which I'm sure you'll get to. There's one from, I think, Ken, saying it's his, he's so excited about the season. And I think
saw that,
you look at the players that we've got, and it's just phenomenal that it's almost, we've always had the academy, and we've always had the names that you hear of, and you think, oh, he's the one they're looking for. He's the one they're looking for. Obviously, Romain Esse doesn't need any introduction. Everybody knows the story there, but it just it's amazing that it was only Esse, really, wasn't it, for such a long time, and now you can reel off. We could potentially field half a side with the young players that are potential for the future. So
you've got Jack Howland, another one, haven't you? Jack Howland coming through
Howland,
as well.
Lamptey. I mean, you Massey, I know he's had some first team experience, but he's one that goes in there. I think you're going to talk about Grant a little bit
next.
So that's 4 already that you look at and go, well, there's your future side. And I think it's great that they're getting an opportunity around the first team. Alex Neil has obviously come in and understood the brief that, there is money to spend, but you've also got you've got some good youngsters that might be worth having a look at as well to save us money in certain areas. So Lamptey, impressed. I think I was impressed with, I think it was the second game the first game in Spain. I think he come on the second half, and I thought he looked quite good and very quick feet there as well. So I don't know. Again, I think it's all dependent on maybe who we sign, and I think Chris's point again about Kundal, what's going to happen to him, where's he going to fit in all of this? That's maybe for a later date. So there's plenty of competition, but very, very good player on our hands in a key area that we keep all of us have said and we'll come on to. We need a centre mid. We've got 2 young kids breathing down the neck of the first team, saying, well, give us a chance. Let us show you what we can do. And it's exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. Cheers for that, Stato. And Jesper, coming to yourself, mate, just want to get your thoughts on Rafik Lamptey. Have you impressed with what you've seen of him so far in pre-season? And do you see him potentially forcing himself ahead of the pecking order above Massey or Kelly if an opportunity was to present itself to a youngster to come through and play any part in central midfield this season?
I think first and foremost, it's always interesting to see the young players that we use in pre-season, and I think he's looked decent. Again, I think we have to be a bit wary of the teams that we played. The quality in terms of Northampton, Bromley, Sutton, etc. And it's not to say anything about the performances. It's just Championship is different level, and when you got Luongo, Mitchell, Casper De Nor, and Luke Kundal in there, I don't see the young kids getting many minutes, but if an opportunity should arise, you always hope that they do well. And I could see maybe 1 or 2 getting into the team like throughout the season. I don't know if we're going to touch on Kamal Grant, but I think he's different because he's 22 now, actually, which actually surprised me. I thought he was younger, but he's 22. 22 to me suggests that then you're not a prospect anymore. You move into sort of this young player where you sort of have to make your breakthrough, and if he doesn't do that this season or latest next season, I don't really see him having a future. But I think Lamptey, he did all right. He seems like a bit of a terrier. He covers a lot of ground. He's a bit like Billy Mitchell. He's got a good engine on him. Probably needs to bulk up just a little bit, in terms of the physicality of the Championship. So I think a loan move could also do him the world of good. But I think someone wrote, and did you just say that they might want to keep in the under 21 this season? So,
yes, I heard that before. Yeah,
listen, we've got quite a few young players who look very interesting, and I think could we get a few loan moves for them? I think that would be very, very good for their continuous development in terms of the likes of Massey and Matthews, maybe also, and Lamptey. And then it's interesting with the guys that you mentioned, Howland. I think it's been mentioned that they speak a little bit about him the same way they did with Esse and Bangura Williams when they were just on the brink of getting into the first team. And I've liked the look of him. He's got a wonderful little left foot. He's got close control. Seems to understand the game as well. And Alex Neil himself said that could be one to maybe surprise a few and get more minutes than he actually expected him initially. So, all in all, very positive with the young players, and Rafiq definitely fits into that category of interesting prospects.
Lovely, thanks for that, Jesper.
I'll tell you what was interesting as well from the fans forum, the transcript that's come on, the action. What is it they called it? The notes from the official minutes. The official minutes. Tweeted. And Gallen was quoted as saying that the youngsters that we've lost over the last couple of years. Stevenson was the latest, wasn't he? Went to Brentford. It was very, very highly rated, and he was at pains to make the point: we've not lost anyone this season because people can now see a pathway and a future at Millwall. And it's all good for the club, isn't it? It's all building to put. This is why everybody's feeling so optimistic, because not only are we making good signings, good quality young signings, and a little bit of experience as well, but there is a pathway and an opportunity for quality youngsters. So our youth and under 21s is only going to get stronger and stronger. That makes the club stronger and stronger and gets us all even more excited about the future. It's really, really good times, isn't it?
Yeah, no, most definitely. Cheers to that, Disco. Go start off yourself now, Stato, with regards to Kamal Grant. What did you make of his performance yesterday? I mean, I was there, I watched it. I thought it was pretty dominant in the air. He looked quick. Played a very big part in setting up the 6th goal for Josh Coburn at the end. And also next to me was his family as well, family and friends, and they were lovely. They were supportive. I think it's his mum there who was really vocal and sort of shouting out to him, and he gave him a little clap at the end as well. So, what do you make of him? Do you see him featuring at all this season? Is there a chance that he'll do that? Obviously, he went out on loan last season, the Bromley. They don't usually go out on loan twice, do they? Either make it or you don't make it. What's your thoughts on Kamal Grant?
First of all, just a quick question for you, Joe. At what minute of the game did you get added into the family group chat?
Oh, the dad weren't there. It's just the mum. I thought it'd be too rude to ask for a number, to be fair.
Sorry, that I had to. That was an easy opportunity. Set me up nicely.
Yeah, like the one you missed.
Yours is worse.
Oh,
Yours is worse.
No,
Kamal Grant. I'll be honest with you. Jesper's just surprised me as well. I didn't realise how old he was until now. Just now, I've looked as he was talking. I looked up and thought, what's he kind of done? And since he joined us, he's gone out on loan to Dagenham and Redbridge, Bromley twice. Obviously, last season at Bromley played 40 games, so that's where he really got his first, real taste of first team football, playing every week alongside a former Lion in Byron Webster. So it would have been good experience for him. Again, it's always an interesting one, isn't it? We talk about realistically, we've probably got 4 first team centre backs on the books. You look at the first choice to Tanganga and Cooper. You've got Crammer, who obviously will probably fill in at right back, but is a centre back by trade, and Wes Harding, who is a centre back by trade. I know people will argue and say Ryan Leonard could fill in there, but I wouldn't class him as a centre back. I think that would be very bare bones if he had to play there. So realistically, Grant is possibly looking at a 5th choice role if he stays with the club. They wouldn't want to damage his experience from last year. They'd want to get him some regular game time. Again, I think it's one that maybe is one that's probably on the books to perhaps go out on loan. But the fact that he's been with us since 2022, clearly they like him. They've retained him each year since then. So I wouldn't be too disappointed if he stuck around and perhaps got some experience for the first team. But I think he's certainly one that perhaps will be given another loan spell, perhaps at a slightly higher level this year, maybe League One for him. But he looked good last night, and again, it's one of those, isn't it? We have a very, very good record with centre backs, don't we? We have a very good record of when we find one, we tend to look after them, and they go well for us. Obviously, Jake Cooper being a prime example, Sean Hutchinson, Tanganga, even the lads that have come in on loan in the past, Ballard and alike. So I think certainly one that they do have their eyes on, but I think he'll be one that probably be out on loan in the near future.
Nice one. Cheers for that, Stato. And then just coming to yourself, get your final thoughts on Kamal Grant, Jesper. What was your thoughts?
I think yesterday was interesting because he was one of the few, and I don't know if that was because of lack of personnel, but he did play 90 minutes, and he's got quite a few minutes this preseason, which suggests to me that he might play a part in terms of being in and around the squad.
Very good point.
We might have Wes Harding as an opportunity in there, but he might be an option, and Alex Neil might see something in him. From what I saw yesterday, that maybe his long-range passing, is still room for improvement, but I think he looks strong. He carries the ball quite well. He's not afraid to pass it forward. And the goal he set up for Copeland was excellent. We can talk about it being Sutton, but, he burst forward,
under a bit of pressure as well. He showed
a well-timed through pass, which Michael Laudrup would have been proud of as well. So, but it's one of them that you don't expect really. So I think he did well, and I think for one, is one of the things he might not go out on loan and might stay in and around the team because we're not blessed with that many centre backs, and it could be that one of the positions that we're going to cover with one of our own players instead of go out and sign one. So
I think he's quick as well, and he's quick, pace and
yeah. But the physicality first and foremost was what stood out for me, and that's vital playing in the Championship if he has to get in it.
Yeah, very, very true. And just come on, you Lions. What in the chat? Yeah, I saw that, mate. Don't worry. He's been chucked out and banned. He's gone. Don't worry about that.
Joe, just on Grant, I thought it was interesting what Chris said there, and it was a telling point, wasn't it? That they said if Tanganga did go, we've got younger centre halves lined up to bring in, and they didn't mention Grant in that, so that's quite interesting for me.
Right.
What I saw last night looked good in patches. As Jesper says, that ball through for the goal was phenomenal for a centre half to lay a ball like that through was outstanding.
Great composure.
Yeah. Did miss a really good header chance, which I don't like. I like a centre half to bury a free header like that from a corner. And I will politely say, jury's out for me on him. I've only seen him like yesterday. I'd say jury's out. I think it's a work in progress in my mind. So I'll be interested to see what happens with him this season.
Interesting. Cool. So that wraps up yesterday's game. But before we move on, a couple of things I want to say. Firstly, well done, Max McKinnon, with your excellent commentary yesterday and throughout the pre-season. I don't know if Max has listened to the show. He usually, does sort of drop me a little text here and there. So, Max, well done, mate. I think that was your last one. I don't know if you're commenting on on Saturday's game, but cheers for all your insightful words during commentary. And Stephen's got some stats, haven't you, Stephen? So we'll talk about sort of pre-season and what it means and what we're trying to achieve out of it. Alex then made a big point saying pre-season that he wants to sort of find a way or solution creating more goals. And Stat has got some stats for us, haven't you, Stat?
Yeah, I was looking at come off of the back of last night. We scored obviously 6 goals again. National League opposition, no disrespect to them. A former Lion in the dugout as well, which I will come back to. I thought his interview was class after the game yesterday, Mr. Morrison. But in terms of us and pre-season, I don't think anyone could argue that in the last couple of seasons we've gone into them thinking, how are we going to score more goals? How are we going to create the chances? How are we going to hurt teams? And I think it was no different last season. I know Ivanovic come really, really good the second half of the season, but it was a change of manager, a complete change of dynamic behind the scenes and things like that. But last pre-season, we played 6 games. I haven't got all the opponents, but we played 6 games, 2 in Spain, 4 in England, and we scored 7 goals.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
you know, okay, goal a game, but 7 goals in 6. You'd expect a dip in form and the like. So far this pre-season, we've played 6 games and we've got 16 goals.
Wow.
Now,
What a difference.
I think the boys have touched on this. Chris did. I think it might have been Steve as well, that the way that we're going to play, and I think that a couple of the guys in the chats have said that Langstaff might benefit this year from the midfielders and the setup, and it certainly looks that way because we are going to create more chances. Maybe he will get the chances that he needs, the 3-4 in a game before he finds the back of the net. I think Ivanovic's conversion rate is a bit better than that, so we might see quite a few goals from him. So in terms of what Alex Neil is coming in and looking to do, he's completely ripped up what it's meant to be a Millwall player and a Millwall fan during pre-season, because he's going, right, we're creating chances, we're going to score goals. It's the most goals that we've scored since 22-23. I think that was the year that Nisbet might have got his hat-trick at Sutton. I can't remember. Someone
Yes,
might be able to
I was
check
there.
that for
You're
me.
right. Yeah.
And Stephen,
again,
not to put you on the spot, but I also believe that the most of the goals we've scored have been from open play, right? I don't think we scored many from set pieces, as far as I can recall.
To my knowledge, no. The set piece goal that springs to mind was the first one in Spain, Ivanovic from the corner, the header. But apart from that, they have been open play, which again is something that we've struggled with. So again, Alex Neil is addressing the issues that we have. Mark Murphy must have read my notes. He's in the chat saying we will possibly ship a few goals to score a few more. We've conceded 6 goals in pre-season this year, which if you look at, we're conceding a goal a game. It's not terrible. It's not, we'd maybe like to be conceding a few less, considering 2 again, we're against National League opposition. Last year in the 6 games, we only conceded 4. So we all knew we were going into the season with Tanganga, Cooper, Brian, Leonard.
Stato, can you repeat again? So last season we only conceded 4 goals. How many goals have we conceded this season?
6. So
6,
we have conceded, and 2 of those again against National League side. So it could be that we are going to have to sacrifice a little bit of that defensive, that solidness at the back, the big centre halves to be able to create more. However, in 6 games, we've scored 16, conceded 6. If we go into the season with those kind of numbers, we are going to be one hell of a team to watch in the Championship. Again, our position will look to try and stop us, and perhaps have plans for Ivanovic and Doughty and alike. But it just goes to show that for all the work that had gone in, Rowett, Harris, our mate Joe Edwards, all of that kind of work that had gone in previous seasons, Alex Neil has come in and gone, great, we've been really good at the back, but this year we're going to concentrate on scoring goals. And so far, the proof's in the pudding. It's been a dramatic change.
Yeah, and that's still, I just worked out very quickly, that's still a +10, Stephen, this season compared to +3 last season. So yes, we've leaked in 2 more goals. We scored a hell of a lot more goals. So if that's a sign of things to come,
and
next season,
sorry,
I'm here
Joe,
for it, Yeah.
And also, people might again correct me if I'm wrong on this, but our goal scorers we've seen Howland, Emakhu, Aziz, Ivanovic, Coburn, Langstaff, Bangura Williams, Kundal. So it's 8 goal scorers. I might have missed 1 or 2. Apologies if I have, but it's 8 goal scorers across all of the attacking players that have been on the pitch. So our goals haven't just come from Ivanovic, although he may have caught the eye in pre-season so far, but everyone else is chipping in, so we aren't just reliant on him.
It's very evident what Alex Neil is doing, isn't it? With those stats, Steve, and it's brilliant because it just shows, true to his word, I want to make us more attacking. I want to get more players contributing to goal, assists and goals. I would say the only negative, and I'll put it in balance, but we did look a bit dodgy at the back yesterday, didn't we? They tore us one a few times, and should have had 2 more, really.
In particular, I notice in set pieces, and that's very un-Millwall-like, isn't it? For us to defend set pieces. And the second goal they scored yesterday, I watched it back this morning, and I hate picking anyone out for it, but it was actually Doughty's fault. Doughty was on the back post. Their striker, whoever came at the back post, and Doughty was very, very slow to react to clear that. And the player got in there first, literally just tapped it in, didn't they, pretty much? And we need to sort of eradicate those small little errors defensively if we want to really challenge for top 6 places, don't we?
I think,
similar Bromley, wasn't it? Sorry, Stephen. Similar Bromley, wasn't it? A goal mouth scramble as well. But the good thing is we're not being cut open by teams, So, these are things that you can eradicate and you can, you can improve on.
That's what I'm saying.
It would be worse if we were cut open and we, formation-wise, we weren't linking up well, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
I think the other people in the chat and we'll all stats can be manipulated and looked at in whatever way, shape or form. It depends on what side of the coin you're at, whether you look at them in a positive or a negative. But ultimately, I've banged on this podcast, on other podcasts, at the ground. Anyone that will listen to me, how are we trying to score a goal? And Alex Neil is addressing that. He's clearly come in with the idea that there is talent in this team. We just need to harness it in a different way. So, standard of opposition. We make changes and, 1-11 in the first half, the second half, etc. It does make it a little bit disjointed, but you still have to put the ball in the back of the net. And ultimately, we go to games to see our team score goals and win games of football. And if we're doing that, then we're going into the season on the right path, in my opinion. And I'm sure that others would agree.
And be entertained, Are you entertained? We're approaching 90-minute mark, so let's try and wrap things up, guys, before we head too far into injury time. I'm trying to think who I've got to start with next. Now, is it Disco or Jesper? I can't remember who.
Sorry, Joe. Before you do that, just because I think a comment might get missed. I think it's Rob T. Compare our starting 11 from the first game of last season to what we could have this season, night and day. I've got up our team. So our team on the opening day, it was against Watford. Obviously, Jensen had a little bit of a nightmare, but our team was Lucas Jensen, Ryan Leonard, Sean Hutchinson, Jake Cooper, Joe Bryan, George Saville, Casper Denor, Romain Esse, George Honeyman, Duncan Watmore, and Tom Bradshaw.
Wow.
So if you compare, now we can all play the game of who's going to be in our starting 11 this year, and everyone's going to have a different. But if you go with that front four, Bradshaw, Esse, Honeyman, and Watmore, I can assure you that our front four that play against Norwich next week are going to look a bit better than that.
Yeah, better than that. But Esse, because I love.
Esse obviously was class, and I take nothing away from him. But certainly the other three be very, very special. And Rob, absolutely spot on, mate. It'd be night and day from the start of last season.
Yeah, very, 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 very true. Let's start with yourself, Disco. I just want to touch on the friendly on Saturday. So Saturday we're playing at the Den against the Portuguese side, Estoril Praia, I think they're called. Don't know much about them. The last time I tried to comment against Elche, I got that completely wrong. I thought they were some kind of pub team, didn't I? Some Spanish pub team, but they certainly taught us how to play football, keep the ball. But this side, they come to. I haven't heard of them. I don't know how good they are. As we mentioned earlier, as Chris alluded to mention earlier, Disco. I guess the starting lineup on Saturday will give us a bit of an inkling as to what Alex Neil's starting lineup will be on next Saturday, because they usually do that a week before. They usually play the last friendly as the starting lineup as to how they're going to start the first game. And then they have a whole week where they're just resting up, recovering, do a bit of light training before they go off. So what's your thoughts on that game and what do you expect to see from that match?
Well, Jesper is our expert European correspondent, so I'm sure he'll have a better knowledge.
Technically, you're closer to Portugal than he is.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah.
And you live in bloody Bolton.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's thinking I'm in Spain or something.
Yeah.
In bloody miserable Bolton tonight. But, look, it'll no doubt be a good test because, again, I would imagine them to be technically very good, want to retain the ball, which I think will be a good test for us to see how we get on against that. Be good if we can maintain our goal record, as Stephen says, a real, get 2 or 3, maybe let one in, hopefully none, but maybe let one in, but get some goals on the score sheet as well. But yeah, look, we're all going to be excited to see the starting 11 it's either going to be the 11 or very close, isn't it? You don't start tinkering at this stage, do you? I.e., put an 11 out and then it's, change 9 of them for the Norwich game. There's no chance. So it's going to be the bulk of the team. Looking forward to that. That will be an interesting one to watch. In fact, even Angelo might watch that friendly. He's not a friendly fan.
He hates friendlies.
He hates friendlies. But maybe he might watch that with interest because we're all excited to see all these players and how they gel and what have you. So, really looking forward to that, Joe. Is it a 3 o'clocker? Is it 3 o'clock?
I don't remember hearing it. I don't know whether Stato, or Jesper. Saturday, I presume it's 3 o'clock. It could be earlier.
No,
it could be lunchtime.
I think I saw it was 2 o'clock my time, so it must be 1 o'clock your time. If I'm not
was it
mistaken.
really? Right. Okay. There you go.
So I'll be able to watch it in the morning and then watch that.
Yeah.
Look forward.
Of course. Coming to your next Stato, what's your Portuguese like? You any knowledge of this team? What sort of challenge would they present to us in your eyes?
Well, whilst Disco was talking there and trying to work out how Bolton is closer to Portugal than our correspondent in Europe, they finished 8th in the Portuguese league last year, 46 points from 34 games. Looked at a couple of their results. Obviously, the big 4 in Portugal are Sporting, Benfica, Porto, and Braga. Whilst they didn't get on too well against them, in all honesty, they lost pretty much all of the games. They were in all of them, so a lot of the results were only by 1 goal. There were a couple of thumpings in there, but a lot of them was by 1 goal. So they were competitive against the big 4 in their own right. Again, I don't know. I can't confess to know a lot about the Portuguese league, but it will be a different type of challenge. It will perhaps be. Much like Elche, who like to keep the ball, I would imagine that they're going to probably come to the Den and try and do the same thing. And I think that's your tests for your likes of your Leicesters, your Sheffield Uniteds,
Norwich,
teams
which
like
would be
that.
A great pre-friendly leading up to the Norwich game. Yeah.
Absolutely. So again, look, they might come and be absolutely outstanding. They might come and be bang average. We don't really. I can't confess to know too much about them, but I think it's a good opportunity for the players to obviously get the first game at the Den. There's a few that will be making their debuts at home, and it'll be good, I think, to see and perhaps have some questions answered as to what the club are going to do in regards to who's going to play the first game at Norwich. I think you're right, Joe. The first team on Saturday will be very, very close to how we line up on Saturday, on the following Saturday, barring any major hiccups. But it should be good. Last real test and see what we do. See how we go.
I was going to ask, are you going to that game, Stephen, this Saturday?
Sadly not. I've got my Norwich ticket that come through the other day, so very much looking forward to that. Saturday will be obviously, as most of the listeners know, and you guys, I play cricket. It'll be my last game probably this weekend because obviously football season comes into effect. So I'll catch it. I'll watch it back and have a look and obviously take note from afar. But and then full steam ahead to Norwich.
Good stuff. Cheers. And come to yourself.
How are you doing in the league, Stephen? Your cricket this year? I know you did well.
Mid-table. We got to the semi-final of a cup competition with mid-table.
Boring.
Sorry, guys. We've got the cricket here, and we've got Married at First Sight up in the Zampa household. So I think I know what camp I'd rather be in.
No competition. Maths all day. Jesper, come to yourself last on this one, mate. What you hoping to see this Saturday? Is there any particular players you're hoping to see start in that first 11, in your opinion?
No, not really. Be interesting to see who starts because I think, as everyone has already alluded to, then I think we'll probably see the starting lineup for the Norwich game. So it will be interesting to see who starts on Saturday. Just had a look and was quite surprised to see that the Portuguese league actually starts the same day as we do, because normally when we play these teams from Spain or Portugal, they usually be a few weeks behind in terms of pre-season. So they will be fully fit and they will be up for this game. And I think, as Stephen mentioned, they will want to keep the ball like any Southern European team. They want to be in possession. They want to keep the ball, etc., etc. So a stern test. I had a former co-worker who is a Sporting fan, and he said Estoril is a team that popped out from nowhere and suddenly got promoted. They're sort of located in the suburbs of Lisbon as well, but they're doing quite well. And as Stephen said, they finished 8th last season. So, competing against the likes of Porto, Benfica, and Sporting Lisbon, then you do have some quality about you. So yeah, it will be a stern test, a good test for us, I reckon. So really looking forward to it. Much more looking forward to next Saturday when we go to Norwich. Even though, Stephen, maybe you know this, I can't remember the last time we even managed to get a point at Norwich. It must be the worst hunting ground. I can't recall it. So tricky.
I'm sure Stato knows. Go on, Stat. When was it?
I believe it was either 1963 or 1967 that we won at Harrow Road.
There you go.
Joe,
a long time ago.
Joe had just turned 11. Joe had just turned 11.
I was a little sperm in my dad's testicles doing backstroke.
Steve was there.
Steve was there.
I was alive.
Steve was at puberty at that time, wasn't you?
Sorry, I stand corrected. We last beat Norwich 3-0 in 1968.
Wow.
So
not everyone's got 68. Look, cool. Old Stato's getting corrected, eh?
When did we draw? Was it the Morrison belter that he scored a third?
No, we lost that day.
We lost in the very last second.
We drew in lockdown.
I think we drew in lockdown. But yeah, our record there is absolutely woeful, but not this time. It's a bit like, when the major tournaments come around and we all say England are going to do it and they're going to win. Not this time, but this year is the year we go to Carrow Road and get 3 points.
I think it's a good time to play.
I'd agree with Steve. Yeah, new manager. They lost Borja Sainz as well. They signed quite a few new players. It's a new team. What can we expect? So we've got a settled manager. We've got some good signings. If we can stay. If our best players can stay fit, there's no reason why we can't get anything. I just really hope that we can get something. A draw would be fine as well, just so we don't go there and lose again. So fingers crossed. But it's getting close. It's getting exciting now. It seems like forever since we played that game against Burnley. I mean, so
we're almost there, guys. We're deep into injury time, so we've really got to wrap things up. Last thing I want to mention is come to yourself, Stato, first. The EFL first round. We've got Newport County away. Newport played Barnet yesterday. I think the game finished 2-2. Newport won on penalties, and the fixture is going to be played on Tuesday night on the 12th of August. A long trip down to South Wales, and what's your thoughts on that, Stephen? Are the squad going to be motivated to perform in that game, or is that just something that we're going to use for sort of squad rotation? What's your thoughts on that?
I reckon Alex Neil was absolutely gutted when he saw the result of that. As that, probably thinking, Barnet will do it, it's only down the road, and now he's got a trip, as you say, to Wales on a Tuesday night, which is we could probably do without. I reckon we'd probably find that none of the loans that they talk about for the young players would have been sorted by then, and we'll send down a very, very much academy-led side with perhaps a couple of players that maybe don't get minutes at Norwich on the opening day. It's the first round. We'll do a show, won't we? And we'll talk about it. The expectation will be to go and win. On the subject of the cup, though, and I'll ask you boys and whoever you go to next, perhaps to ask first, and the guys in the chat. The clear ambition from the club is to be promoted this year. I think that's there's no secret there. Does Alex Neil just say, don't care about the cups? Would we be happy with that as supporters? We've traditionally been a very good cup side, especially the FA Cup. Is that something, if we did get beat, he'd be maybe disappointed to lose, but go, well, we concentrate on the league anyway? Are we at that stage yet?
I don't know. I mean, coming to your next, Jesper, I'd like to see you answer that question. I mean, for the first time in a very, very long time, we've got a very, very good chance of doing well in the league this season, challenging for a playoff spot. Could the cup run upset that with injury, suspensions and whatever? What's your thoughts to Stato's point there?
That seemed to happen in 2004, didn't it? When we were actually doing well in the league and we had that amazing cup run, eventually leading to
really good point.
We went to Cardiff. I think we dropped off towards the end of the season because all eyes were on the FA Cup.
Well,
I think
got injured. Dicko got injured. There's lots of, weren't there?
I know. But if you ask me, it depends on what cup we're talking about, because I've always thought it's weird that we got two cup competitions. The Carabao Cup. Where you also have the Premier League under 21 sides now, I think. Aren't they playing in this one as well, or is it? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they usually are.
Is that the
League
EFL one from League One? Oh yeah, okay, sorry. But I don't. This cup competition, the Carabao Cup, doesn't mean anything to me. If we went to and lost to Newport, I wouldn't mind. The FA Cup is different. It has a different history. It has a bigger meaning for people in general in the UK, as I understand it. So I would expect us to compete more and put out a better team in the FA Cup. But for me, the Carabao Cup, it doesn't really say me anything, to be honest. No, it doesn't excite me, and I don't think it excites anyone. I think the club looks at it, especially the bigger club looks at it and say, "We got to play these games again," and they send out the young players as well.
That's right. Very good point.
I think just the only thing I would say, I didn't really answer the question myself, but last year Alex Neil actually got going in the FA Cup. That's what sparked us under life under him. He won it against Dagenham and Redbridge with a good result against our friends from Leeds. So I think he does see value in it. But come Christmas, the FA Cup, we'll see just quite how he approaches it this year, because it could be very different.
Especially if we're sitting in those sort of playoff places come Christmas, it'd be interesting what his starts would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
and just any of yourself, Disco, just your final thoughts on the EFL and that cup competition.
Look, league is priority first and foremost. You don't want players getting injured, which is always the concern. I'd imagine there are some rules around how many players you can change and stuff like that sort of shit. So we'll have to be careful of that. But look, I really don't like this view of it don't fucking matter, don't care. No, look, winning's a habit. It's a positive thing. Yeah, make changes. And look, even if we do get knocked out, like Jesper said, look, it wouldn't break my heart at that level. But we've got it all to lose. They've got it all to gain. And we've been underdogs, so we know how it all works. But I like to go to these games with intent to win the game, not to just go through the motions. So it will be an opportunity for a few of the reserve players, if you like, to have a go. But let's go and have a go. And if we win, I think that's just get a winning mentality is not a bad thing. So it's a bit of a catch-22 in a way, but injuries is the thing. You want to avoid getting quality players injured for that sort of game, don't you?
Although to Alex S's point there, Disco, so with our 60-man squad, we can do the league and the cup.
Exactly, be like the Lions on tour. We can have a midweek team and a Saturday team. Perfect.
Love that.
But that's a good point that Danny mentioned just before. That supporters going there. Of course, you want to send out a team to win the game. That's not what I mean. It's just if we went out, it wouldn't break my heart, as Steve said. And again, it's a good opportunity maybe to have a look at the younger boys, the ones that we can change, because I don't know what the maximum is that you can change, but there is a maximum. So
I think there is. I'm not sure how many changes. Is it 5? I think you're allowed. Up to 5, I think.
But I would be quite pissed if Neckley played in Newport and then got injured and couldn't play.
I know, exactly. Yeah. Right, guys. I think we've that's a wrap there, guys. Before we do, as promised, we're going to go to some of the starred questions. So we had Rob T really early this evening said something definitely feels different about the club at the moment. It's like we are saying we are serious about having a right go. It's unlike anything I've seen in my 40 years being a fan. Completely agree with you, Rob T there. Another one that's been starred is Rob T says Tanga, Dinor, Ivanovic is some spine. 3 of the best players in the division. That's so true. Excellent point there, Rob T. Another flag was Pov says, how are you supposed to pronounce Doughty? Anyone want to give it a go?
You just did, didn't you?
But wasn't there something on social media recently or something about how, I think it was Dan from Lions T. Lee said that it's Doughty or Doherty?
Doherty.
I think. Doherty. But
think
yeah, so it's
somebody
going around at the
told
moment. Everyone's I think it's
We'll
bouncy.
go. We'll go with Alfie. Just call him Alfie. It saves all the confusion.
Yeah, let's go
It,
with
right,
Alfie.
it rhymes actually, doesn't it? There's a clip of him saying Alfie Doughty.
Yeah.
You know, like the two.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Exactly. We'll go what he says. John C said Lamptey was a fullback at Brighton and got released at 16. Didn't stand out, so the club have developed him into a midfielder. Interesting. Another comment that was flagged earlier this evening around 8:30 was Danny Chappell said, "Has Watmore got a club? Anyone know?"
No.
No, we asked that
injured.
first, didn't we? And don't think he has. No.
I think he may still have a knock though, because it was a longer term thing, wasn't it? I don't think he'll be finding a club this sort of summer as such, but he'll have the opportunity of being a free agent.
Yeah, he would be. I'm sure he'll get snapped up. I'm sure he will. And then the last comment that was said was Ben DeViva said, "I told you, Joe, Elche, I've seen them. Okay, I apologise. I got that one completely wrong. Okay, stereotypically, I thought they'd be shite, and they proved me wrong. So, well done, Ben DeViva. Well done, guys. That's pretty much it now. So, just want to say thank you so much to all our listeners for your comments, to be with us. From the 7 o'clock this evening. Really do appreciate you being with us every week. Like I said, we do this for you. We try and put as much content together as we can. Takes a lot of time to prepare for these shows. You can imagine these guys got their time so generously as well, and I do appreciate these guys coming on. Just to wrap things up, Disco, come to yourself first. Anything you want to say before we say goodbye to our listeners?
Yeah, good show, Joe. Great to see you all on, and Chris as well. Look, really, and thanks to all the listeners for your comments and contributions. Yeah. Please, as you will say, Joe, like and subscribe. It really does make a difference. And listen to what Chris has said there, over £10,000 raised this year. That is phenomenal.
Incredible. So, and we wouldn't be able to do that, Disco, if it wasn't for our listeners and the Millwall fans that we see, that donated collection buckets and watch the show and put the likes in there and subscribes. This is what we say every single time, because all this money we get goes towards the final figure, doesn't it, Disco?
Correct. And look, better than that, it's great to be doing it at a time when the club is really an exciting club. Like people have said, there's something brewing, and I liken it to, listen, I'm lucky enough to remember to have been there in 87, 88 when we had that a purge of signings, Cascarino, Chicken George, and Herlock, exactly, Cascarino. And you just felt something was happening, and sure enough, it's got that feeling about it again. It's a real shame we haven't gone for the similar shirt, this year. But that's that'd be
lovely, wouldn't it? That would put the ice on the cake.
Probably would look right. We're not Lewisham on any.
One day we've got to try and. I mean, I know we can't get Lewisham on there, but even just those little diagonal stripes going down the dark and the light blue. And the V-neck.
Yes.
Cheers for that, Disco. Thanks very much, mate. Coming to yourself, Stato, anything you want to say to our listeners before we say goodbye to them?
Yeah, as always, I always say I appreciate it, whether it's one person or 50 people or 132, which is the last count that I saw. There's a couple of guys that do message as well privately when we do shows as well. I won't mention any names in case they don't want me to, but we really appreciate the support and feedback. We try and make it as good as we can. If Alex Neil is watching, Alex, I hope you enjoyed the festival. For those of you that saw on social media, I bumped straight into him at Blackheath Festival at the weekend. Very much starstruck. It was Joe. I was very much starstruck.
You doing your full whites?
No, sadly not. No, sadly not. But I hope you enjoyed the festival. And
if he was, at least that way you couldn't tell he got overexcited, could you?
Oh dear me.
But no, as I say, whether or not people listen, whether or not you agree with us or you disagree with us, we do it because we love the club. We do it because we love the club. Joe says that as if he isn't trying to get in all the group chats, as I said, of all the family members and all that. So, but no, really, really appreciate the support. I can see there's 62 likes, Joe. I'm sure you'll remember to G up some more likes. towards the end. But thank you very much, and full steam ahead for the new season. We're fighting for our places for you guys. We're fighting to get on the show. Selection dramas ahead for the new season. So we'll see if we've made the cut for the opening game at Norwich.
That's it, exactly. And Andy, to your point, I am very jealous, mate. I'm only winding Stato up because I wish I could meet him. I will meet him one day, don't you worry. Cheers for that, Stato. Thanks very much. And coming to yourself, Jesper, if you want to say to listeners and just to kind of end the show for us, really.
No, not much more to say.
He always does this.
I know. No, I'm joking.
I should really come to him first rather than last. I tell you.
No. Thanks to the listeners. Thanks to the viewers for coming on. It makes it all worthwhile. Giving up some time to be here. It's always enjoyable. It's always good fun. Whoever's on the show, I really enjoy coming on here as a foreign supporter, and everyone's been very welcome. So thank you. Yeah, and I can't wait to be over in 2 weeks for the Borough game. Already secured my hospitality ticket. So,
guys, in 2 weeks'
we'll be celebrating
if you see Jesper, you can't not see him. He's about 6'10". He will stand out. You will see. If you do see him, go say hello to the Danish destroyer. And
I'll try and polish my head so you can't not see me in the car park. With a shiny light bulb outside. If anyone sees me and want to say hello, that's you're more than welcome. And really looking forward to it. And let the countdown begin. 10 days, and we're at Carrow Road. Can't wait. Honestly,
it'll be here before you know it.
I know.
Before you know it.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Again, guys, thank you very much for you in the comments. I'm going to leave it there because we've been going on for an hour and 51 minutes now, and. We get told off from Chris. He says, look, try and keep it to 90 minutes if you can. And we always go, well into extra time because of you guys. It's your fault, not our fault. But listen, guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Listeners, thank you very much for being with us also. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to go on Norwich away. I'm going to go Norwich away. Stephen, you're going to go Norwich away. Chris is going to go as well. And a few others from the chat with chats are going to go as well. So hopefully we'll see you there. If you do see us, don't be shy. Come over and say hello. It'd be good to have a chat and talk about Millwall while we're at the ground as well. So, guys, that's all from me. That's all from them. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.